Copyright disclaimer.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Bill, and I want to talk about Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Marvel's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Bill, and today I want to talk about Marvel's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur on Disney Channel and YouTube and Disney Plus. I just finished watching episodes 1 through 6. I'm going to talk about some things outside of the show before talking about the show, then each episode in order. So if I get to a point where you haven't gotten to that episode yet, remember to like and subscribe and ring the bell and all that good stuff. Click away when I get to an episode you haven't gotten to yet. I think that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. I'm not reading off of my screen. Marvel's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, or simply Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, is an American animated television series developed by Steve Loader, Jeffrey M. Howard, and Kate Condell, with animated services provided by Flying Bark Productions. It stars Diamond White as Lunella Lafayette, aka Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur, played by Fred Tatasciore, I'm sorry, in present-day New York. It's based on Moon Girl by Brandon Montclair, Amy Rader, Natasha Bustos, and Devil Dinosaur created by Jack Kirby. I don't know, this is such a weird... We've kind of been going through a lot of limited marketing when it comes to animation. And it's great to see something on Disney Channel get a lot of marketing, a lot of publicity, Funko Pops, theme park meet and greet stuff. It's also not an original IP, but it's not a very utilized IP, but it's under the umbrella of one of the biggest IPs right now as part of the Marvel universe. It's so weird to kind of wrap my head around, like, should I as the consumer be hopeful that this steers Disney into the direction of highlighting their Disney Channel programs more? And no, I'm not going to entertain the Owl House versus Moon Girl nonsense. Like I said, it's great to see marketing at all for anything animated. I want to acknowledge it and then shove that all to the side and just talk about the show. End of the day, this is still something that is clear that a lot of talent as well as care and passion went into this project. I feel like this is the beginning of the post-Spider-Verse generation of animation continuing. We saw it with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. We're getting it here. There's been a lot of other instances. It's great to see the freedom and the beauty of animation being utilized to the highest degree of fantasy and waps and pows being on the screen and the panel editing and then breaking that panel editing. It's really fun. It's bright. It's colorful. It also has a lot of heart and very serious messages. It's very informative at times, and it's constantly engaging and interesting. It's heart-filled. It's doing a lot of stuff, and it does those things really well. It's also exciting as someone who grew up learning how to read from reading comic books. It's cool to see the little girl who took on Dr. Doom get highlighted in this way. It's also strange that Disney is promoting the show more than other shows, like I previously said, but it's also kind of not. I've been really baffled. It released on Disney Channel first. The first 2 episodes are on YouTube, or at least right now. They also take those down. And then all 6 episodes so far are on Disney Plus. It's just been strange. Like, it's been hard for me to keep up with it. I've never felt more like an old man yelling on my lawn than like, you're putting it on too many streaming services. But it gives people an opportunity to watch it. And then you get into regions, and I'm like, I don't know how that works. I'm just a person. I don't work at Disney. They don't pay me or sponsor me. I'll talk about things if you send me the stuff early. Otherwise, I gotta wait like all the other people and be just as confused. I didn't even watch the episodes in order at first. I saw that they popped up episodes 1 and 2 on YouTube, but all I saw was episode 2 and thought that was episode 1, watched it, still had a great time, and I'm like, I guess we're not gonna do an origin story right away. That's fine. I got it really quick. And then I saw episode 1 was there, and it's like a 40-minute special, and I didn't even do this right. It's just been so baffling. Performances are all really great. I feel like they really mesh well as an ensemble. I think the villains are all really creative, and they serve great purposes in each episode, which I'll get into in a second. Someone in the future, please comment below what song this is, by the way. I still don't know. The soundtrack is so stellar. Like, it's visually pleasing, it's audibly pleasing. As much as I have a bit of Marvel fatigue myself, it's nice to see a different perspective in this Marvel's Avengers New York. And I guess that's kind of where I'll start. There is references to things in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we know it. First one being, do the Avengers even go past 14th Street? On the long list of things where I'm not a part of this, being from New York is one of them. Yeah, do the Avengers even go below 14th Street? And I wondered, wait, do they? I kind of realized it doesn't matter if they do or don't. Someone in a world where the Avengers exist who lives so close to Avengers Tower doesn't feel protected. It's so gripping how they work that reality for these characters into this world. It takes place in the Lower East Side, and our first episode centers around constant blackouts and how that leads to businesses failing and people not feeling safe. And we see our main character, Lunella, start to grapple with, well, I'm some sort of genius. I'm supposed to be so smart. I can do all these things. Why can't I fix this? It's so heartwarming and devastating to see that like her first superhero job or mission or task that she wants to do is simply figure out these blackouts and stop it from happening. And I love slowly developing her origin story. Oh, it's so touching to see like her costume is like kind of gathered from pieces around the community. And that's kind of been the core of the show so far in these 6 episodes, enriching nuggets of protein and all this fun sugar and candy. Even at the very beginning, we have, Lunella's skating around, music is playing, the lyrics are in the environment. It's so fun, it's so interesting, and then there's just a hard stop when a local business fails. You start to feel the weight and that impact because it's impacting our characters. What's going on? What does this mean? Uncertainty, fear, and it's a real issue. It's not, oh, Ultron closed. It's not like the issue is Ultron shut down my favorite restaurant. I like how grounded it all is, and I like instantly showing us that just like this restaurant that got shut down, Lunella's family is also a local small business. They own the local roller rink, and then the blackouts affect their business. The roller rink has to get shut down for the night, and they start to worry about the future of their business, and that's what inspires Lunella to try to find a way to use her intellect, her gift to help. It definitely stays in the fantasy, but it really takes its time to ferment on the reality in these situations, and I really admire and appreciate that. I also wrote, oh no, Electro is hot. Oh wait, Aftershock. Even though it's called Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, still taking that time to have that eerie, silent reveal of Devil Dinosaur. Oh, this would also be, yes, really cool, but also kind of really terrifying. That's still a dinosaur. It's just little things like that where it takes itself seriously and grounded, and it stays that way. And I appreciate that we're doing both. We're having fun and being serious. We also get introduced to Casey. She wants to work with her as her publicity manager. I love that Casey kind of brings her own things to the table without also being a tech wizard genius, whether it's her knowledge of cosmetology and how that does feed into an understanding of chemistry with acetones and nail polish remover. I love seeing both them being nervous at first for their first, I'm going to film you saving the day, and also this is your first time saving the day. And it's great to see them kind of take a moment, fail, learn the tenacity involved to be a superhero, doing her homework as a superhero in a sense. I like seeing that synthesis between a natural gift for intellect while also having to still put in hard work. I think in the comics she can just read his mind, but instead she learns his language. I kind of like that more. It speaks to her gift that she can also completely learn a dinosaur language. And his name is, what was it? The tyrannical fire beast who will bring the end of all things. We see the clash between the superhero and the pedestrian alter egos of our main character. Because Aftershock turns out to be the new substitute for her science class. They've both seen each other's faces now. If she knows who I am because of school, that means she also knows where my family lives. Like, it really ups the stakes. I feel like the school is not a school for gifted youngsters, right? Like, it doesn't feel like MIT Junior like it does in Spider-Man Homecoming. We do get more of the traditional beats of an origin story for a superhero concept, right? Oh no, I'm not good. Get good. Oh no, something else happened that made me not want to do superhero stuff anymore. Oh wait, I'm gonna be a superhero. However, it does use those tropes to service its story and kind of moves into that skid a little bit, especially with, I'm putting this poor dinosaur at risk. This isn't where you belong. I took you out of your home, but then Devil chooses to stay. We don't need that part, but it's so serviceable and it's so essential to defining not only who our hero is, but also the relationship she has with Devil Dinosaur. I also love when Lunella talks to her family, especially her grandmother Mimi, who I think knows. She has to know. Oh, also the school mascot is a squirrel, which makes me hopeful for a squirrel girl in this part of the universe or whatever. There's also a moment where Lunella's family defends Moon Girl because of all the good she does, and they don't know who she is, or at least they don't let on that they know. It's a great first episode. It introduces you to the characters in the world, the neighborhood and community that means so much to her. You really feel like she wants to help and make a difference because they've helped to make a difference to her. Like, it's so good. Going into episode 2, like and subscribe if you're leaving. I like what they do with the cinematic universe of Marvel. In episode 2, for example, we have a symbiote. Traditionally, if you think symbiote, you think Venom and Carnage. Here in episode 2, it's a symbiote that feeds off of someone's jealousy making them an internet troll that keeps bashing Moon Girl, and it's like getting under her skin. And yeah, as a human as well as a content creator, like I'm currently going through that problem every freaking day. I don't know, I really appreciate taking it contextually and fitting it into this superhero story, and it's something that they keep doing, and I really love it. Whatever we're battling, whatever we're fighting has a comic book side to it and a real world side to it, and it's not always so direct like the symbiote. In the third episode, Lunella's grandmother is trying to teach her patience, and like, oh, maybe it would do her some good to watch the rink on a slow day. You know, she always wants to fix everything right away, solve everything right away. Ironically, that's how she became Moon Girl, was instead of rushing into a battle, taking time to learn to use her gadgets, train Devil, learn his language. She still needs to work on these things. Nothing is ever one and done. I appreciate a hero that still learns all of their lessons and like gets hit with those same trials in different ways. Here we're learning patience, and Lunella gets ahead of herself. She's building gadgets and machinery to make all the jobs go faster. She breaks her mom's turntable, and so they're going to raise money by doing a Moon Girl meet and greet. And while yes, fans are showing up, so are the villains. And as much as I love the joke that they have to still pay to get in, I really love that the three villains that we see also embody different forms of not having patience. We have Instagal, I don't remember, Janie Instantania, who used Marvel's superhero steroids essentially and got banned from the Olympics for cheating. We have a crybaby who always wants to like get his way and play with Devil Dinosaur, that lack of patience, like kind of a spoiled brat. And then we have a guy who wanted to get rich quick, create a super suit to rob banks, and he has like this anti-gravity juice, and Lunella has to learn to dodge, duck, and weave until he runs out of fuel. I really like just those ways that we incorporate the lesson into the action and the fun, and it's always interesting to see like, oh, what's the next villain gonna be? And sometimes we're not battling a supervillain per se. Sometimes it is directly a consequence of Lunella needing to learn something. In episode 4, a supercomputer is brought into an assembly and challenges the smartest kid to chess, Lunella. Which I also like that the other students don't really roll their eyes at her or, ugh, nerd. Like, they're actually cheering her on. Go, smart girl, beat the computer. And the principal, who I love that principal, is like, you got this, go squirrels. Yes, there are still negative people, and we'll get to that. This is a supercomputer that is capable of emotions. It's essentially like a Jarvis AI, and I love that they prefer they, them pronouns, normalizing the response of, oh, I use she, her. The concept of they, them pronouns has Lunella say, oh, just like Ty, and it cuts to one of the students going like, yay, like they, them pronouns, like normalizing it, like it just, there can always be more, there can always be more representation, but like that's what the goal is so people don't feel so different. It's little moments like that. There's characters with like trans rights stickers, and there's pride imagery everywhere, and there's Casey's dad's. Like, there's still a lot of representation to be had. Yes, the cynical part of my brain is like, can you cut that out really easily for certain areas? But that's a whole other conversation. Yay, it's there. It's a very fun and funny episode as we're learning about having fun, as Lunella is learning about the goal in playing games is to have fun and connect with people and not just to win, but also talking about the pressure of, well, you're a supercomputer and I'm a super genius gifted kid. We have a lot of pressure to win, to perform. It still ends with the note of she's still working on it. I also love that Casey and the computer are invited to family game night. I love stressing that this stuff isn't gonna happen overnight, or you're one good interaction away from learning your lesson. It's a constant ongoing thing. And now, after the first 4 episodes, after we've tackled systemic and societal issues as well as personal growth moments, we get a blending of both in what's probably my favorite episode of the 6, Hair Today, Gone Tomorrow. The hair episode. As somebody who is ignorant of this, I'm outside looking in here. There's something about hearing those stories from friends or coworkers or loved ones, and then also seeing it presented in this way. I find it, from my perspective, very informative as much as it is, I'm sure, reflective. Picture Day is coming up. Lunella really doesn't care about Picture Day. Casey really does. We're also talking about how Lunella won't wear her silk bonnet for her hair, and it already translates so well as just a coming of age, you're getting older, start taking care of yourself. And then a student in class makes a comment about Lunella's hair. She says like, oh, isn't messy what you're going for? And seeing Lunella take that so harshly, wanting different hair like her friends, hair like someone else's. We start seeing the ads everywhere, the beauty standards that are portrayed everywhere. And Casey wants to help despite loving her natural hair, but wanting to respect her wishes. One of the things she's so knowledged in is cosmetology and like, I have wigs, I have hair care products, I'll heat up a comb, we'll do this and this and this, but it still doesn't work. Lunella then goes the genius kid tech route and develops a serum that'll give herself straight hair, and then her hair falls out. And yeah, the hair is sentient and it's kind of silly, but the hair does spell out for Lunella, you mistreated me, you didn't even use the right kind of comb, you didn't bother to learn. Who's voiced by Jennifer Hudson. I literally compared Maine, the hair villain, to it's Moon Girl's Ultron. I also love that one of the solutions is Lunella wear a wig, and that wig is like getting in her eyes while she's doing Moon Girl stuff. It also doesn't suit being Moon Girl. There was something about adding that. The wig then mysteriously gets boiled in the middle of the night. A beautiful setup for how supportive her family is yet again, where they're all like, what's that smell? Be nice. She's cooking something. It's so much support while they think she's cooking something that smells really bad. It sets up beautifully that she does have a supportive, kind family, especially when she's ready to admit what's happening, minus being Moon Girl, to her family. And again, outside looking in here, I don't even have hair. As we're about to get hit with all of this information and knowledge as the audience, it's already instilled for us that like, oh, the family is going to be a safe space. It's not out of character. It's the first time that she's honest about it. She doesn't even say to Casey, what that girl said really got to me. And then her mom and her grandma just spell out for her, and I had to write it down. We live in a society that's never valued our natural hair. It even solidifies how ongoing and systemic this issue is, because the grandma and the mom also have their own stories of trying to make their hair do something it's not meant to do. Even driving home a point that, on the long list of things I was very ignorant about, the fact that the chemical that's used requires a neutralizer, so the chemical stops working before your hair falls out. Almost like it's not good for you. I'm already stressed out as it is. The thought of a neutralizer is startling. But I appreciate how informative that is. Like, I'm never gonna have that experience. I'm always gonna be ignorant of it. I admire taking the time to illustrate that, not only for people like me who need to be informed on this, and hopefully it will lower the amount of those interactions, but it's also there to comfort people who have these experiences. Even when she goes back to school with the wig on, that same girl says, "Oh, you're pretty now." Like, it makes me, it already made me uncomfortable, but it makes me so much more uncomfortable. Lunella takes in the practical response of, oh, a neutralizer. That's how I will fight the magic hair. And then we get my favorite musical visual fight scene. Lunella has the revelation while literally fighting her own hair that she is fighting a part of herself. And this battle is not as external as, here's a villain that happens to be my hair. It's a battle you're having embracing who you are and a part of who you are. It's this wonderful reconciliation of like promising to take care of her hair and the hair agreeing to literally return to her body, just like what we have with Devil choosing to stay in New York as opposed to going home. And I love that while, yes, she could piece together, oh, I need a neutralizer, do a little spritz and then done. It's taking that time to work this out. Time for picture day. She has her hair back. She's proud of her hair, and she's also using her silk bonnet. And I don't know. I've had people talk to me about these kind of things, and it kind of blows my mind how rude people can be. It's so invasive. Like, don't touch people's hair or any part of their body without their consent. Like, don't make rude comments. The troll in episode 2 even like kind of insults her hair in her head, and it's like, oh yeah, like villains make fun of that kind of shit. Like I said, I hope it does something constructive. Be less ashamed of who you are, and also watch your mouth, everyone else. Like, you don't know what kind of impact that's having. And then we get episode 6. This is where we get introduced to the Beyonder, who turns out has been the narrator all this time, Lawrence Fishburne himself. I really love already the idea of this big recurring bad beyond logic and understanding that Lunella will have to figure out. He's a celestial being that's sent to Earth to study humanity to see if humans should still exist. This is a confirmed Centaur World reference, and it makes me happy. Lunella interrupts him, cuts him off. She has her science fair. The prize for the science fair is getting to go to the Wakanda Outreach Center. It's exciting to hear that, to watch that. I want you to go there too. I want to see it. I want you to see it. It's exciting, and she's so passionate that she's interrupting, talking over, and dismissing her lab partner, Eduardo. She treats Eduardo the exact same way that she treats the Beyonder, completely discrediting them, talking over them, interrupting them. Even Casey says, like, you have to do a lot to impress us. She summoned a dinosaur from another dimension, which is valid, that she's kind of limiting the value of the people around her and it's having consequences. I love the Beyonder. I love his powerline hair. I love how silly and scary he is. One of my favorite things I've noticed while editing and making this video is seeing all the times the Beyonder messes with the animation transitions and Lunella's mind breaking at the lack of logic there. Eduardo equals Beyonder. Didn't think I'd be writing that. I too devalued and underestimated Eduardo at first. Both the Beyonder and Eduardo are people who admire and value Lunella, but she also cut him off and interrupts him. I don't know, I find that parallel really interesting as she's struggling to think of a project last minute or the world is doomed. I love that Eduardo's just, I'm the king of last minute projects. Like it's really cute and sweet, and it reinforces that like students are different and people are different and like he deserves to be there in his own way. And I love the visuals when the Beyonder starts to dismantle and remove humanity. The animation's getting undone. Lunella's left in like nothingness with Devil and like there's no music. And then when the Beyonder sets everything back, I learned something from you after all, I'll be back. There's a silent kind of land when Lunella and Devil are dropped back in the Lower East Side and the world is put back to normal. She didn't exactly win and she wasn't in control at all, setting up something that will be a challenge for her despite her level of knowledge and intellect. This is something otherworldly. It's going to be something she's going to have to learn, and it's exciting to think about, well, what could she do to protect the world, let alone herself, from that kind of power? Lawrence Fishburne did a great performance at that character. The song is really fun, and again, I love, dude, you didn't even get to that part of the song, so this is kind of on you. You didn't read the question all the way through. It felt like being a bad test taker despite being smart. She's proven that she's capable. This is just going to require a lot more knowledge and experience that she doesn't have yet. He's not defeated. He just agrees to come back later and he's still watching. Like, what's that going to do to you, you know? I really love these episodes. So I don't know. I hope this elevates Disney Channel animation projects in the future. I'd love to know other people's thoughts in the comments. Again, I'm just one person with a limited scope of experiences and knowledge, just taking in what I watch. If people want, I'd love to do more Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur content in the future. Let me know with your likes, your subscribing, ringing the bells, comments of encouragement. I have a gaming channel linked in the description, Build Chill Gaming. I stream there twice a week if you want to hang out and talk about Moon Girl with me over there. My merch store, thethirdbill.com, is also there if you want to donate or pick up merch. You can leave a super thanks here if you want to donate on this video. And speaking of the description, just like every video and stream that I do, there's also a link there to a card that'll send you to resources for social awareness and education, mental health and crisis lines, Trevor Project resources, things like that. Should you or someone you know need them. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time I upload or go live. Hope everyone's staying safe. Wear a mask if you go out. Be mindful of others. And remember to take care of yourselves, please.